But we haven't spoken to Canada today. They've called and, well, they will have to pay a fair rate. That's all. It's very simple. They have been charging very high tariffs to our farmers, some over 200%. They've been treating our farmers very badly, and they've been treating our country very badly for years. Look, we like Canada. I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada, but they have been very poorly led. Very, very poorly led. All we want is fairness for our country, that's all. They want to be under what we call the Golden Dome. And I said, well, you're going to have to pay for that. They want a lot of things from our country, and for years we've given them that. We have basically protected them with our military. They spend very little money on their own military. Not an acceptable amount. Today, a new chapter unfolded in the escalating trade dispute between Canada and the United States. President Donald Trump took to the podium and once again chose confrontation over cooperation. In under 30 seconds, Trump painted Canada as an economic freeloader and a security liability. Next week, I'll be in Ottawa participating with the Prime Minister in consultations, for example, with Métis nations, on getting major projects done quickly. Our focus is going to be on what we need to do to ensure that key sectors of the Canadian economy, steel, aluminum, automobiles, lumber, are able to get through this difficult period with these sectoral tariffs applying as they do around the world. We're going to focus on what's necessary to support those businesses and on the things we need to do to build one Canadian economy and get major nation-building projects done quickly. What seems to be the sticking point in the negotiations? Not one economic relationship with the United States is exactly like another. You see different countries concluding agreements with different levels of specificity because their conversations are different from those of other countries. Canada has one of the most integrated economic relationships with the United States. That's why the sectoral tariffs are so difficult for us. But the government of Canada will do what we have to do to support those industries. My conversations with Secretary Lighthizer have been constructive. We've learned a lot this week about what the Americans are concerned about and where there might be opportunities at the right moment to get the best deal for Canadian workers and Canadian businesses. We've said many times, and the Prime Minister has repeated, that we're not going to accept any deal just because of an arbitrary timeline set by the Americans. We're going to do the work that's necessary to get the best deal for the country. If yesterday afternoon that deal wasn't clearly on the table, then we will continue to talk to the Americans. I agreed with Secretary Lighthizer that we would talk on the phone next week and look for an opportunity to meet again later in August. In the meantime, we have important work to do at home, building the resiliency of the Canadian economy. Canadians elected us to get major projects done quickly, so that's going to be a huge focus in the coming weeks and months. What's your message to Canadians who are reading the news today and are worried about their jobs and rising costs because of these tariffs? I think Canadians need to understand that the Prime Minister has been clear from the very beginning. The government will do what is necessary to support sectors of the Canadian economy and workers facing unjustified trade action by the United States. We're working closely with provinces and territories in a very collaborative way to ensure we have the right measures to support Canadian businesses and workers. We've also said to Canadians that we can give ourselves much more than any other foreign country can take away. We can build big things in the Canadian economy in the coming months and years. We can do so with Canadian labor, Canadian workers, Canadian steel, and Canadian aluminum. The rest of the world is knocking at Canada's door to increase their trade with us. Closing statement. This was today's important update. We want to make it absolutely clear that our videos never include any kind of misinformation. Canadian Nexus is dedicated to bringing you verified and trustworthy news from across Canada, from politics to society and everything in between. If you value truth and facts, you're in the right place. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the Canadian Nexus channel. Thank you.